Have you ever felt a special energy in the air just before the sun rises? There's a reason for that. It's a time of incredible potential. I'm breaking down 10 ways you can tap into this power and make these hours work for you. What should you do in those precious hours before sunrise, from the first light of dawn until the sun fully rises? What does it mean to be awake during this special time? Make the most of these magical hours. First things first, being awake during this time is key. It's about setting up our lifestyle so we're definitely up and at 'em before the sun. This golden hour varies depending on where you are in the world. For example, where we are right now, 4:30 a.m. is prime time. Aim to be awake for the half hour before and the half hour after 4:30 a.m. Don't hit snooze. This is not a time for sleeping. If we give in to sleep, we miss out on crucial events and powerful vibes meant for us. It's like missing out on gifts from the universe. So the first thing is wakefulness. We need to schedule our lifestyle to be awake during these hours before sunrise. What should we do during this time? When you're awake, you've already accomplished 50% of the work. You're signaling to the universe, I'm ready. I'm a soldier ready to receive your blessings, your vibrations. This is huge because you've declared your readiness. The second thing you can do is release resentments. Imagine the day's blessings are like a heavy, refreshing spring rain. But there's a catch. The place where you are is covered with a waterproof sheet, and not a single drop can penetrate, no matter how much it pours. What do? You get rid of that sheet. This sheet represents resentment. For whatever reason, towards anyone, anywhere, for any cause, we hold on to resentment. If we want to fully benefit from the abundant rain of dawn, we have to identify and release these resentments. Third, cleanse your heart. During this time, take a look inward. Imagine your heart is a house with mischievous kids running around, making a mess, throwing everything they can get their hands on. It's normal. If you have a few active kids at home, they can turn a tidy house upside down in an hour. Everything is out of place, scattered on the floor. So what do? You've got to tidy up right away. Every mother in the world does this. Why don't we tidy up our minds? Why not clean up our hearts? We've been living with this mess for 40 years and expect things to just magically get better? Come on. If a house hasn't been cleaned in 40 years, with stuff scattered everywhere and trash piling up, would any prince, angel, or divine being want to step foot in there? Heck, even a monster wouldn't want to hang out in that mess. So, heart cleansing is crucial. Our hearts are constantly cluttered with resentments, stubbornness, grudges, envy, and ego. We need to constantly tend to it and take out the trash. The fourth thing we can do is dhikr, remembrance. It doesn't matter what language you use. Farsi, Arabic, Armenian, Urdu, Russian, Swahili, sign language, even the language of a simple glance. Dhikr means remembering the center of the universe, the one who created me, who provides for me, gives me health, allows my heart to beat, my kidneys to function. They could easily stop working, you know? No one on earth can force my kidneys to function if they decide to quit. When it's time for something to happen, even our support systems can work against us. Let me tell you a story. I was once on a bus journey, and a truck came speeding toward us from the opposite direction. The truck driver thought they could speed up and pass the bus, but things didn't go as planned. Instead of slowing down, the driver kept speeding up and crashed head-on with the bus. Several people died in that accident. If the driver had decided to stay in their lane and slow down, both vehicles would have stopped and nothing bad would have happened. But sometimes, when we accelerate, it leads to our downfall. Next, we can go for a walk in nature during dawn. Some of you are lucky enough to live near beautiful natural settings, the sea, a forest, a park, a safe and pleasant environment. But maybe you don't have any of that. Maybe all you have is your rooftop, a balcony, a little patch of garden. Whatever you have access to, spend time there in those early hours. Places without a roof are ideal. Undisturbed places without walls, places where the earth remains untouched. Those are the good spots. But if you find a field, a vast plain where a tractor has plowed a few lines, those lines, imbued with human ego, will disturb your peace. So the more pristine the environment, the more positive the effect. Walk in nature, my friend. Another thing we can do, maybe someone is thinking, I live in a tiny studio apartment. No windows, no nature. What can I do? For you, I recommend keeping collections of poetry from great Persian poets like Hafez, Sadi, and Attar. Read them during those hours. And if someone says, I don't like poetry, then I say, fine, spend that time expressing gratitude for the blessings God has bestowed upon you, blessings you didn't deserve. Really? Ask yourself, what did we do to deserve even these videos that reach us today? We could be scrolling through YouTube and stumble upon a clip that transforms our lives. We could be going about our day and encounter a teacher who changes everything. It's not the universe's duty to deliver this teacher to me. It's my responsibility to work on myself and pass the tests the universe presents. If I don't, the universe will show me a curtain, and if I continue to ignore it, it will be taken away, leaving me in a difficult situation. So, express gratitude for the blessings you have, the gift of existence, health, parents, friends, a spouse, children. Write these blessings down, one by one, in a notebook. Say, okay, today I'll list 30 blessings. Today, I'll thank God for my parents. Today, I'll thank God for my safety and security. Today, I'll thank God that all my body parts are working properly. We can create 30 headings and spend 30 days expressing gratitude for each one. You'll witness the miraculous effects in your life. Another thing we can do is study the divine book. Why a divine book? Because books are of two types, written by humans or written by God, the intelligence of the universe. Books written by humans reflect their understanding, their interpretation. Sometimes they might get it right, sometimes not. But a book written by God leaves no room for doubt. The intelligence of the universe knows its stuff. So, the book it compiles is top-notch. Sometimes this book takes a physical form like observing the stars, the earth rotating, us spinning along with it. It's fascinating to witness this beauty. The sun itself, how gracefully God pulls it up from the east. It's all for our comfort, for our well-being, to provide light, vitamin D, and countless other benefits. So, study this divine book. Sometimes this book comes in written form: the Quran, the Bible, the Torah, the Avesta, various religious texts. Another practice we can engage in is mindful breathing. Eastern mystical traditions emphasize two valuable points. First, mastering our breath, which leads to mastering our mental self. The short, shallow breaths we take when stressed limit our lung capacity and keep us in a state of anxiety. So, taking a few deep breaths in a space filled with oxygen refreshes us and breaks that breathing habit. Master your breath. Second, master your spine. Our spines often end up in bad positions due to various factors, leading to spinal problems for many people. Why? Because they don't control their spines, they let them go, and over time, problems arise. We need to be mindful of our spines, and the early morning hours are a great time to practice. You can use techniques like Zen or yoga during this time. Now, what is the most excellent deed? The practices we've discussed are recommended and have proven effective. But the most excellent deed, as advised by the superhuman, is thinking, pondering, contemplating. Spend those hours walking around your home, your room, and reflect. Think about everything God has given you, the decisions you've made in the past, how foolish some of them were, the disastrous consequences they created, your relationships with society, how selfish and sickening some of those relationships are. We're not concerned with others, only with ourselves. When you point a finger at someone, remember that 3 fingers are pointing back at you. 1, 2, 3. You. You are responsible. You are responsible. You are responsible. Any situation we're in, good or bad, we created it ourselves. We need to understand this scientifically. Through contemplation, you can analyze and realize, hey, if I'm facing this crisis, it's my fault. For instance, if money is being deducted from my salary, it's because I became a guarantor for someone. I signed that person's paperwork, they defaulted on their payments, and now my salary is being docked. I'm responsible, not them. They brought me the paperwork. I could have said no. I could have said, I care about you, you're a good person, I respect you, but I'm not signing this. If you gave someone a blank check, you could have refused. You could have skipped that party. You could have chosen not to follow that person on Instagram or social media, which ended up causing problems, and so on. You could have held your tongue. You could have avoided certain places. You could have chosen not to engage in those behaviors that created problems for you. And now you blame others? That's unfair. You are responsible. When you point a finger at someone, 3 fingers point back at you, saying, you are responsible. You are responsible. You are responsible. Your thumb points to God, saying, by God, you are responsible. Now, this is a bit of an allegory, a symbolic representation, but the truth is not far off. So, the most excellent deed during the pre-dawn hours is contemplation. This contemplation, in a remarkable way, frees us from the mental ego. The mental ego's nature is to keep a person trapped in their own thoughts, constantly engaged in self-absorption. It's like when your computer gets a virus and gets stuck in a loop. It keeps scanning your hard drive, checking your keyboard twice, your monitor, restarting, over and over. It works hard, but accomplishes nothing because it's not processing any data. We were created to process data, to think, and this thinking is extremely important. Religious texts emphasize this heavily. Contemplation is highly valued. Try out these 10 methods based on your own perspective, preferences, and capacity. We're committed to encouraging you to stay awake during these hours, no matter what. You might try all 10 and find that, for example, you benefit most from studying the divine book, or maybe from contemplation. Whatever works best for you is great. Know this: those who have had spiritual experiences believe that angels come to our doorsteps with gifts. They wait for us to open the door with pure hearts and clean hands to receive these gifts. If your heart has even a speck of darkness or your hands are dirty, you won't receive the gift, because it's wrapped in pristine white, and even the slightest blemish will show. Don't reject these gifts. They come to the doorsteps of all humans, regardless of their beliefs, background, or system. Even the most wicked person in the world, imprisoned for their heinous crimes, will have angels visit them at 4:30 in the morning. There are no exceptions. It's just a matter of that person preparing themselves to receive the gift. O God, make the end of our endeavors such that you are pleased and we are redeemed.